How's it going, YWC? Guy on the internet who doesn't like reviews. TNA Impact late review. The final deletion. Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy for the rights to the Hardy name, image, blah, 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 and storyline. But it was much more than that. It was a lot of good matches. Some storylines got advanced. He got some stuff for Destination X. But I feel like a lot of people just glossed over the entire show because the final deletion episodic stuff was kind of it overshadowed a lot of the show because of how zany and out of control and how different it was. But with that being said, let's start off with the beginning of the show. It starts off with Matt Hardy and Rebel giving Maxwell a birthday party, and new character to TNA, Senor Benjamin. Matt Hardy tells him to prepare the battlefield to delete a brother Nero, and he says that he's giving Maxwell the birthday present of ending Jeff Hardy or brother Nero from the family tree and have the entire name. And then you get Mike Bennett. They cut to the Impact Zone. Mike Bennett, the Miracle, coming out talking about how he's the greatest X Division champion of all time and that he wants to cash in his X Division title right now and that somebody should come get the title so he can win the world title picture or whatever. Out comes Dixie Carter. Dixie Carter pretty much tells him, look, you've been a mockery to the title. How you win is a joke. You're a joke. But we have one more match before Destination X, and it's only fair that you face the entire X Division in a Ultimate X match. Mike Bennett obviously not, enthused to do this, but it's Mike Bennett versus pretty much the entire X Division. Some of the best spots of the match: Braxton Sutter hitting his jumping Yakuza kick to Rockstar Spud's face, and I guess kicking Spud's teeth in, like on some legit shit. Spud had to go to the back, and on Twitter he has the braces in. I like this because it makes Braxton Sutter's kicks, his kick finisher or setup, whatever, it makes it a little bit more dangerous. Mike Bennett, he's such a great heel for the X Division. Obviously we know he could, climb the X Division structure, but he's like, oh, I can't do it. He's trying to jump at the title. He can't do it because he acts like he doesn't have the coordination or the upper body strength, but obviously he does because look at it, he's bigger than most of the X Division wrestlers. Mandrews hit a, moonsault from the top of the X Division structure. Trevor Lee and Andrew Everett, they actually made these guys a tag team. I mean, they work very well together. And who else was in there? Sutter, Rockstar Spud got out of there kind of early. Oh yeah, DJZ. DJZ hit a couple of impressive high-flying maneuvers. But most of it came out to Eddie Edwards, like he was climbing the X Division structure, and Mike Bennett got into the ring with a ladder trying to, grab the X Division title. Eddie Edwards kicks the ladder down and wins the X Division title. You cut to a scene backstage where EC3 and Galloway are arguing about them losing to Lashley. They get into a fight, and that sets up a match for Destination X. Galloway versus EC3. They just claiming that hashtag a fight. Then you get to the next match: Eli Drake versus the Cowboy James Storm. Eli Drake is just like, in a way, watching The Rock in his prime without all the rough transition that he went through when he first came in. It's kind of like that. James Storm, I would say, controlled most of this match. James Storm is just like, he may be the best, one of the best, like pure in-ring wrestlers in TNA. Like I say, he's hidden with that. Like you really wouldn't tell, like just by looking at him and his character, that he's very technically sound. You would think like he's a brawler and that's all he can do. He doesn't have a lot of athletic moves, but he does. And the crowd was very behind Eli Drake. They were chanting dummy, yeah, chanting Eli Drake. And when he did the Eli Drake elbow, they were with that. I forgot what he called one of his moves, like is a inverted power slam type of thing. I forgot. It was kind of cool, whatever. But anyway, the match ends with James Storm hitting the last call super kick. It sends Drake out of the ring. Drake plays possum and attacks James Storm with the belt, beats him up, hits blunt force trauma, and then tells James Storm, "You want a taste of this belt? You're not gonna get it." So it's continuous storyline to Destination X. Pretty good match for what it was. Then you get, I think it was the street fight next, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you get Marty Bell versus Jade in a street fight. Pretty good. I mean, I'm not even going to judge this upon the fact of it's a women's street fight, and you know, let's be honest, in mainstream wrestling, you don't get women's street fights, and you know, it had some moments for Jade where she put out the nunchucks. It's on the borderline between racist and cool, because you know, when Jade was getting hit with the kendo stick and she was like, hit me more, and Pope's like, she comes from that strong Japanese style, which could be racist because she's, you know, an Asian woman, but then again, she has wrestled in Japan where, you know, let's face it, they have a different style, and getting hit, the fighting spirit is a lot different than over here in America. Marty Bell, I can't wait to see Marty Bell away from this feud and doing something different. Obviously, she's the better talker and the better character, but the match ends with Jade hitting the package pile driver to Marty Bell on top of a steel chair. Then you have, let's see, next coming out, you have Matt Hardy sending drones. Yes, a fleet of drones to Jeff Hardy's house, and Jeff Hardy attacking the drones with a guitar that he was playing. And then you have Matt Hardy riding a lawnmower like a, well, he's obviously playing a madman, but it's so weird, but it's so cool at the same time. Anyway, next you have the Miracle Mike Bennett coming out and bitching, talking about the S Division title was robbed from him, that he needs to be put in the match. It needs to be a triple threat. He's better than Lashley. He's better than Eddie Edwards. And then out comes Dixie Carter and Billy Corgan and saying that, you know, he had his chance. He lost the chances. He made a mockery, blah, 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 blah. They, and like Mike Bennett and Maria pretty much say, if you don't give us a title shot, we're going to leave. It's me or you, me or you, me or you. Pretty much, you know, we already know this. The IWC is Mike Bennett. Mike Bennett and Maria are playing the IWC. You need to leave, Dixie Carter. We can run the company better than you, blah, 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 blah. And I guess, in a way, Dixie Carter is saying to the IWC, look, I own the company. Stop your bitching. I'm not going anywhere. And that's pretty much the whole storyline. It's the IWC versus Dixie Carter, played by Maria and Mike Bennett, because they're annoying, they lie, they cheat, they have no sense of dignity. It's basically the IWC, the underbelly of the IWC. And Mike Bennett said he's going to quit if they don't give him a title shot. Dixie Carter says, we're not going to give you a title shot. And he says, okay, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to ruin Destination X, which could have multiple meanings. He's going to ruin every match. He's going to ruin the main event. We'll just have to see. Anyway, moving on past that, you get the more Brother Nero stuff where they're preparing the battlefield with gasoline. Then you have Lashley. They asked Lashley, hey, did you see Eddie Edwards win? He's like, yes, you know, it was a pretty good match. But let's be honest, in a fight, who flips, whatever, I'm a legit fighter. What they do is nice, but they aren't ready for me. Eddie Edwards isn't ready because, you know, I'm legit. Then you have the Romance versus Decay. And before the match starts, Jesse Goddard says to Robbie E, look, you think we're talking behind your back, me and Raquel, but obviously, we've just been using Big Brother After Dark stuff to find stuff on Decay. They tell Decay to look at the monitor, Titantron or whatever, and then on the screen, it's Rosemary kissing Bram, which has the rest of the members of the K confused. The bromance in this match, I'm going to say it. The Decay has the better character, the Bromans are better wrestlers. I know it's gonna upset a lot of people, but I have to be truthful with that. Like, they have better, crisper tag team moves, and individually, they're better wrestlers. Granted, Abyss is still good for what he does, but Jesse Goddard, when he hit that forearm, that springboard forearm, I got a little reminiscent of AJ Styles, and he hit it flesh on, Abyss to the top of the head. So the man's leaping ability is second to none. I think he's finally gotten to that thing to where he knows what to use. Like, okay, he's a muscle guy, but he also has this great leaping ability. So he's hitting a lot of jumping enziguris, the drop kicks, the high knees. He's making it to where he's not just one-dimensional, blah, 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 with the muscles. It's also athleticism. Robbie E, okay, whatever. Raquel, I mean, I haven't seen anything wrestling-wise from her. We know what Rosemary can do. The match ends with Crazy Steve getting chokeslammed by Abyss as a finisher, but Robbie E rolling out of the way. They take Abyss out of the picture with Jesse Goddard hitting that springboard forearm, and then they hit the bro down on Crazy Steve, getting the pinfall victory, and I guess earning a title shot at Destination X. If they took the titles off of Decay for the Bromans, I don't know. Like, they could, but I just think it's probably going to be a good match. Anyway, moving on past that, you get Eddie Edwards in his decision to either keep the X Division title or trade it in or cash it in for a world title shot. And he says that, you know, he's got a tough decision to make, and before he can make that decision, out comes Lashley. And Lashley says, look, just take your X Division title. You really don't want to do this because you're going to get hurt. I'd ended Kurt Angle's career, I ended Drew Galloway, EC3. You don't want to do this. Just keep your X Division title, have a merry, reign, and don't cross me again. And then Eddie Edwards is pretty much like, I want to, but I want to cash it in, whatever. But then Lashley says, okay, since you don't want to do that, how about we put both titles on the line? Title versus title. Eddie Edwards agrees, and I like Lashley, the fact that I finally feel like figure out his character. He's kind of playing sort of like, if you ever watch Kingpin, not Kingpin, but Daredevil on Netflix and Kingpin, you know how Kingpin is sort of soft-spoken, but he's still strong at the same time. It's sort of like Lashley is doing that same exact thing. Anyway, for this day ends, we're going to have Lashley versus Eddie Edwards for both titles. There was something that Lashley said. He said when he wins, he's going to rip the heart out of the X Division, which could be true. I mean, I still think they're going to try to have 3 belts on Lashley, the Bellator, the Bellator X Division, and world title. Or, I mean, Eddie Edwards could win. I mean, it could be a shot. I mean, how long has Lashley held title? Like 2 months? Who's to say? I mean, I think it's going to be a live episode anyway. But anyway, getting past that, next you have, let's see right here, blah, blah, blah. I think it was the Final Deletion next. Was it? Yeah, Final Deletion. In this match, there were 2 things that were clear. This was different. This was fun. Matt Hardy is a better wrestler than Jeff Hardy. A lot of more better wrestling moves and a lot more character development. It just looks so weird and different. I have to keep going back to those words because they were fighting at the Hardy property line. I guess these brothers share land or whatever, and it was a set up ring where Jeff Hardy, like, there was one point in the match where Jeff Hardy set up Matt onto a ladder and then climbed a tree and hit a swanton bomb from the top of the tree. Matt Hardy grabs a canister of fireworks and starts spraying it at Jeff Hardy. And then it runs out, and then Jeff does the same thing. Matt Hardy has to run to an overturned boat. That runs out. They fight and get into the water. And then, like, Matt Hardy slams Jeff Hardy into the water. And then Willow comes out for some reason. And then Willow gets tased by Senor Benjamin. and Matt Hardy covers Willow, but then it turns out to be Senor Benjamin, and then Jeff Hardy comes back and they have a fight again, and in this pit that's been covered with gasoline, Jeff Hardy climbs to the top of the Jeff Hardy symbol, cross type of thing, and he's about to hit a swanton on top of Matt Hardy. But Matt Hardy pulls out a lighter from his pocket and lights the thing on fire, and Jeff Hardy falls from the top of it onto the dirt, and Matt Hardy ends up getting the pinfall. So now, Matt Hardy in TNA storyline wise, he is the only Hardy that can use the last name. Jeff Hardy has to either go by Jeff, Willow, or something else. He just can't say he's Jeff Hardy. In terms of story, hopefully TNA sticks to this, but yeah, for what it was pretty fun. Like, it's not an episode that I'm gonna say I'm gonna remember probably months from now. Well, how about this? I'll probably remember the Final Deletion just because of how strange and different it was compared to what's on regular television now. So let me see. I think it's set up more for Destination X, this show, especially the Lashley versus Eddie Edwards stuff. I'm interested to see where that goes. The Cave versus Roman, if they pull the trigger. I wish we would have gotten more stuff with EC3 and Galloway. I think Galloway is about to turn heel, but who's to say? I think that's pretty much it. I think Destination X next week is going to be a pretty good show, and I'm wondering how they're going to handle the Matt Hardy character and what's his next step. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I'll catch you guys later, and peace out. Yeah.